It's 10:30 a.m. I'll call the public safety meeting to order. Becky, would you do roll, please?
I sure will. Mike Copine,
Here.
Keen Hudson,
Present.
Katie White,
Here.
Angie Shippert,
Here.
Mike Pearson.
Okay. We have nobody here that's not associated with them. Okay, did everybody have a chance to look at last month's meeting minutes? If so, any changes or corrections to be made? There are no corrections or changes to be made. Meeting minutes will stand as presented. Okay. Animal control. Terry, I see you're online with us.
Morning.
Morning.
I didn't really have a whole lot. I think maybe we could talk a little bit more about the cat issue. We had a meeting. Angie and a couple other people were in on the meeting, and I was kind of in and out because I had phone calls and people to wait on. But I think we're kind of heading down the right direction. And Angie, you can step in anytime if I forget something or whatever. But there's a lot of information. So I think we just need to maybe have another meeting, or like what they suggested was to go to like the town and village meetings when they have them and like speak about the TNR program. But we do have to, at some point, I believe, the board would have to approve a TNR program to be able to use the pet population funds. So, I mean, that's not really a huge deal, I don't think. But like getting the word out, as far as, you know, going to these meetings and kind of educating everyone, you know, because obviously there would have to be traps set out, and we would have to ask those villages if there's anyone that would like to be basically their caretaker, so that they can watch the traps. And then the biggest thing is finding some place that's low cost to have them spayed and neutered. And like I said, to educate the people, the cats would be brought back to where they were trapped at. So I don't know if any of that makes sense, or if you have any questions. Angie, is there anything to add?
Yeah, so we met with two ladies that are pretty skilled at trapping the cats, getting them spayed and neutered, and then bringing them back to that spot. That's part of the program. And so what we thought we would do is be able to go to like these village meetings, town meetings, and just say, hey, here's a couple experts on this. They can be sort of like a mentor to anybody who really has a heart for doing this sort of thing. Here's who you can contact. They would contact those ladies and learn how to do the program in their own village, and just try to spread out that knowledge of how to do it. And then the other thing is the funding part, which we'd want to hopefully use some of the county funds available already to do some of that work, and just trying to figure out how to do that. So that was kind of our strategy.
I think it's a good idea myself, because at the current time, not too many communities have got a program that deal with the cat issues. So if there's a little bit of guidance or help that's given to them or presented to them, I think it's a plus all the way around. So.
Okay.
Yeah. Education, I think, goes a long way, you know, with trying to get people to understand, you know, that the problem didn't happen overnight. And if we start this program, you know, over time, it's going to help eliminate a lot of feral cats and a lot of unwanted cats.
So who's a part of, like, is it a subcommittee? How would that work, the program? Is it just is there a timeline or a time frame for it? Is it a part of our committee here to come up with the program?
Well, I think that's part of,
Or we just,
we might need to meet again to
Okay.
explore a little bit more. But mostly the mentors, really, the workload would fall on those two ladies that know the most about the program. With, Terry and I kind of conversing as county members. And, but yeah, we need to probably meet again and explore a little bit more.
Anybody else have any questions for Terry? Yes, Dean.
I've got one quick question. How do they differentiate from this is a feral cat versus this is Mrs. Smith's cat next door that you're trapping? Are you going to tag
So-
them or?
Well, so that's part of doing these meetings is for people to understand when there's a trapping that's going to be started, that people understand and leave their indoor cats indoor, or some sort of something on the cat that would differentiate a feral / barn cat from a house cat. So yeah, that would be the only thing, is to really educate when we go and talk to these people, is to educate them on, okay, your cats need to stay inside when we do this trapping. If it's an indoor outdoor cat, just so that we don't get one.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
Anything else? Terry, Mr. Hudson has something he'd like to say.
I met with Terry, I believe it was June 2nd. She gave me a tour of her facility out there, and I must say I have to commend her on the condition of and upkeep of that facility. Very well maintained, and any questions I had, she was very good about explaining them to me. One of the issues, of course, she's taking care of was the issue with the damaged gates they had put up. And after explaining it to me, I understood what happened and how it happened. So I think people should realize that and have any questions. I know Terry has said that, feel free to call her, and I'm going to extend that, because I would recommend anybody that has an opportunity to go out there and take a look at her facility and see what she has to work with, which is good. She complained about nothing, works with what she has, and I think it's a great thing. She's done a great job.
Thanks, Keen. I appreciate that. And yeah, anybody that would like to come out and see, I would enjoy showing them. It's not much, just basically 2 big rooms, but anybody that has any questions, I'd like to answer those if I can. So
The only thing I'd like to add to that is I would advise you to call first, because I did try to drop in one day and she was rather busy, but if you call her, I'm sure she'll work with you on making arrangements to meet with you.
Okay, anything else for Terry? Okay, thank you, Terry. Appreciate it.
thank you. Mhm.
Circuit clerk is up.
Good morning. I'm on the agenda, right?
You are now.
Okay. I put in a request to increase juror mileage reimbursement. I know in the past, we've all talked about raising it, and I think it's time to do that. We currently pay them 35 cents a mile and $15 a day. And the surrounding counties and many other numerous counties in the state of Illinois use the IRS mileage rate. So I think it's time to do that. For those of you who don't know, there are 2 different types of juries, and one's a petit or a trial jury and a grand jury. And the grand jury proceedings are not open to the public. And there's about 12 to 16 people who are brought in to determine whether somebody can be charged with a crime or not. And the state's attorney's office handles that, and they bring them in. I believe they're scheduled monthly, but they're not always held on a monthly basis. We also have a statewide grand jury that were brought in through the Attorney General's office, and they're on a monthly basis as well. They don't always bring them in, but sometimes they do. I'm not worried about the Attorney General's office. They do reimburse us for jury pay. So just to let you all know that. So currently, there's about $10,000 budgeted a year for jury pay, and it comes out of County General. So it's hard to determine on how it's going to affect things, because we have jury trials that are scheduled throughout the year on the calendar. They can come off at any time. So for example, we had 4 jury trials scheduled for the month of May alone, and they all came off the trial calendar. whether one reason or another, maybe somebody takes a plea, maybe the trial's continued, there can be numerous different reasons. So that it's kind of hard to determine. Like right now, in July, Judge Eckert has 4 jury trials on our calendar. Those could all come off, they may not. So it's just kind of a toss-up. You don't really know until the time comes. So I just believe it's time. And I did give everyone a resolution. It was approved by the state's attorney's office, so if that helps. So that's all I got. Any questions?
Any questions for,
I just looked it up real quick. So it's, is it the 65.5 cents?
Yes,
Okay.
that is correct right now. And it says to, it should probably go up every year, and I think it says that on the resolution. As adjusted annually by the IRS, it says.
Yep, thank you.
any questions at all? Okay, we do have a resolution before us. We need to take some action on that. Do I have a motion to, we need to send that to finance, Charlie, first, or to executive?
I would send it through finance because it's going to have financial impacts on the budget. So have
Okay.
them take a look at it and then eventually, yeah, it needs to go to executive.
Okay, do we have a motion to move the resolution to finance? So moved by Mr. Hudson. Do I have a second? By Katie. Any discussion? Okay, if not, those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, the same. So moved is carried.
Thank you.
Thanks, Amy. Okay, I don't think we have anybody present for judges, coroner, or public defender, emergency management agency. Mr. Lally.
Good morning. It's been a little active in my office. We went to Davenport for the partial building collapse. I was there for a couple days as logistics section chief assisting. Been meeting with Dixon Police Department about a couple outdoor events they're going to have and providing resources for that. We're in the planning stages for the 4-H fair in the end of July with Amboy Fire. Petunia Festival is coming up, so we'll be providing assets there, including the command post. And the plans for depot days are being worked on. We've been meeting for that. Byron Nuclear Plant exercise is coming up. We'll be participating in that, including the reception center at Sauk Valley Community College, which will be a FEMA graded event. And I've ran a campaign, donation campaign. We've purchased 14 water-filled jersey barriers for outdoor events in the county to prevent vehicle traffic from driving where pedestrians or people, visitors are walking. So, and that was all by donations. And they'll be here in time for Petunia Festival.
Anybody have any questions for Mr. Lally? Okay, if not, we'll move on. Thank you, Kevin. Probation, Stacy.
2 things. The first, I think I may have mentioned it last month as well. If you notice, there's not much reimbursement that has come in from the state for the positions within our department. That should start to trickle in, starting probably last month to this month. There was a change in process from the state's end in regards to when they would start sending that. And that was upon approval of the annual plan, which I submit. So that money should start coming in. So as you're looking towards that budget year for next year, kind of keep that in mind as you're looking at that. The second thing, and I think I also made mention of it last month as well, the Dependent Children's Care Fund, which has a budget of $27,600. I just sent over a claim this morning from that line item to the amount of 14,000 some odd change. That is for the detention of minors. So any minor that we have detained in Lee County, we get assessed $175 a day for that minor to be in detention. These last couple of months, we've had a significant amount of claims for those 2 months. Last month was 12,000. This month is 14,000. So when that claim comes over, that will put me over budget by about $11,000. So I'm looking and we're about halfway through the budget year. So I just wanted to bring that to your attention that we are over that line item right now. Going forward, it's difficult for me to predict what that might do for the remaining months. I can tell you that we have only 1 minor in detention right now. So that's less than the 4 that we had in last month. We had 2 in for that entire duration of the month, and then 2 others that were hit and miss throughout the month. But I will continue to keep you advised as to where I'm at with that account as that goes on. But if you have questions, please don't hesitate to ask.
Any questions for Stacy? Okay, thank you, Stacy, appreciate it. Sheriff, you're up.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Well, we're in the process of gearing up for contract negotiations, so I've been obtaining comparable contracts and wage scales, so we have the data to support what we're asking for. Apparently been dealing with an issue with the message board for the Lee County Fair. I'm trying to work a resolution with IDOT. They are indicating they did not want, they would give us a permit for to put a message board out, but they wouldn't loan us their message board because they needed it in case of an emergency. My argument is it's 3 miles away, and if you need it for an emergency, you can reallocate it. But we're going to try and work with the state and see if we can come to a resolution on that. I was recently advised that a training waiver was denied for a correctional deputy, so therefore the actual deputy was employed by the Illinois Department of Corrections. He completed the 6 weeks of training with Springfield and then worked for about a month and then moved on to a different job. So since he was not an employee of Department of Corrections for a year, they coded him some HR code as not certified. So the Training and Standards Board is denying the waiver, even though the deputy then went on to work at Thompson Correctional Center. They're still denying it. So I'm trying to work through with Springfield on that. The deputy is slated to get married, and apparently this is going to be a breaking point. And if I can't get a waiver authorized, he's going to quit. So that's what we're dealing with there.
Sheriff, stop me if I shouldn't ask this, but is this in conjunction with the Safety Act that was passed? And read between the lines if...
Well, the certifications, yes, as far as trying to professionalize, standards of waivers, but this one makes absolutely zero sense to me. I mean, he's gone through Springfield's Academy for 6 weeks. He worked in a federal penitentiary. Unknown why they're making us jump through these hoops and not granting the waiver for this individual. He's got the experience. He's done great. He's on probation with us as an employee, and he's working out just fine. So, I mean, I think the Training and Standards Board need to have a little faith in the employers at determining, who's going to be good and who's going to make it and who's not.
I'm trying to word the next question. Maybe I'll withhold that. Maybe on a one-on-one conversation I'll ask.
Sure.
Sure. Does anybody have any questions for the sheriff? Okay, thanks, Sheriff. Appreciate it. State's Attorney, Mr. Boonstra.
Not too much to report to you all. I can give you the collections update if you'd like. The last month total collections received was $7,959.21 for a grand total for the year of $35,464.41.
Is that what we collected, Charlie, or that's what we got?
I'm sorry?
Is that the total collection? Or just...
That was the total collections.
Okay, Wendy's, I'm sorry, Charlie, is
Very
that all you have?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Does anybody have any questions of the state's attorney? Okay, thanks, Charlie. I'm going to comment on the report of abandoned property focus group. Wendy is not available today. I'm not sure if she has anything extending from what is already in place, but we did have an issue of some people that were observed and actually caught as far as the old school in Lee Center, but that's all the further I'm going to take that. That's properly handled. If you have any questions, I'll try to answer them for you. Maybe Charlie can also, if I can't come up with the answer. Anybody have any questions on that? Okay, if not, anything under unfinished business? Charlie, anything, any of the department heads? Okay, I guess not. New business, anything under new business? Charlie?
None for me.
Roll. Al's nothing? We're on a record-setting thing here. Okay, we have nothing under unfinished business, nothing under new business. Executive session, Charlie, anything?
Nope, unless you want to talk about something.
Are you kidding me? 5, 10, 15, 20. Okay, if nothing else, move for adjournment. Any motion? Do I have a
All
motion?
motion.
Okay. Do I have a motion for adjournment? Oh, I'm sorry,
Motion.
Angie. Angie, second by Katie. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. Thanks.